Hello everybody, how are you? What's up? My name is Ron Amos and welcome to the first ever episode of Less Pressure Podcast. I am so happy to finally be able to take on my podcasting journey. I've been really wanting to do this for like some years now, and I haven't really been in a place where I had the space and time to do it. So right now I'm just thrilled that I've been able to open up some time for this project. I'm going to take this mic off the stand because I kind of want to make this a little bit more comfortable. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm sitting back. You can see I'm sitting back on my couch now. I really want this to be a comfortable setting. I want this to be a very, very free, open, like less pressure, kind of situation. I want everybody to feel comfortable, and I want you to feel like you're talking to somebody that you trust, So a little bit about me. My name is Ron Amos. I'm 26 years old. I'm from Chicago, Illinois, and I'm a professional dancer. I'm an artist, I'm a creative, and I just love putting my energy and time into art, So today's topic, we're going to jump right into it, is a heavier one. It's not, the easiest thing to talk about, maybe at dinner, but it's definitely, it's a good one, I think. And I don't want to make it a controversial thing, because I don't think that it has to be a controversial thing. I think that this is a topic where if we really put our egos aside a little bit and our pride aside a little bit, we can kind of come to an understanding of all sides of this spectrum of belief, and we're going to be talking about religion versus spirituality. Now, a lot of people choose religion. A lot of people choose to be religious. A lot of people want to believe in, Jesus Christ or whatever else there might be for them in the spiritual world or the religious world. But some people also want to be spiritual, and that's like a little bit more open for them, I feel. I've kind of gave both a try, I want to start off with my religious journey with Christianity. Now, I was born into a family where my mother was very religious. She still is very religious, and she raised us that way. She raised me, my three brothers, and my sister to be God-fearing people, and her mother and her father did the same thing for her. So where that comes from, I completely understand, like how you can be taught that and then bring it down to your children because it's something that you were taught, and that you still believe in. So I completely 100% get that. Now, for me, growing up as a little kid, I was very much afraid of Jesus. And I don't know that's how it should be or that's how they want you to be, but I just know that for me, myself, God was something that I was afraid of. It was a very scary thing for me. Now, when I thought about it, it's a man that I can't see, he's essentially a spirit or a ghost, not a ghost, but he's essentially like a spirit that is all around powerful. And that scared me because in my house, religion was only really in place, it felt like, for me, just for disciplinary reasons. So it was used for us mostly if you do that bad, God is going to get you, or you're going to go to hell. And I just remember specific scriptures or specific lines from the Bible being preached to us every time we did something bad, or we didn't listen to our mother, or we stepped out of line. It was always a scripture for everything. I'm going to take a sip of my tea, if you can give me 1 sec. So good. Yeah, so there was always a scripture for everything. And we also were in church every Sunday, We did not get to wake up on a Sunday morning and chill in the bed and all that stuff. We got up, got haircuts. She would shave us bald every Sunday morning and then take us to church. And we'd sit there, and we're kids, right? We don't even really know what they're talking about half the time. We're just sitting there listening to them, give us all this information about God and how to live your life and all these things. Now, we knew that eventually we would have to get saved or get the Holy Ghost and dedicate our lives truly to God, but we knew that we were children, and so we had a little bit more leeway. But how it goes is, well, for us at least, it was like, all right, when the rapture happens or when Jesus comes back to get everybody, he's either going to leave you here or he's going to take you back with him to heaven, and you don't want to be left here, So that scared me a lot. It was like, man, God could come right now and he won't take me. And I don't want to be left here without my mom and, my grandma and, all these people. I kind of want to go with them. And it was like a double-edged sword, because it was like, I also want to live a free life. I also want to have fun. I also want to be a regular kid, teenager, adult that, I see on TV. I want to be like one of those people. I don't want to be, in church every day. I didn't really want that for myself. And my mom, she was very deep into her spirituality or her religious or her Christianity. She didn't believe that women were allowed to wear pants. So when she got saved, she would only wear skirts, and she was like in her 30s, but she had the energy of a much older woman. She almost gave off a 6-year-old woman's energy. That's just the way that I saw it. I'm like, man, she's just full-fledged Christian woman, So I thought to myself as a kid, I was like, I'm gonna give myself to God, but not yet. I'm gonna do it when I turn 28, and I'm gonna just ask for his forgiveness, because, I still want to do all the things. I still want to live my life, but I just don't want to be so tied down to religion right now. I want to still experience my life the way that I want to experience it. So going from there, as I got older, obviously my mind got a little bit more free, and I started to have thoughts of and I was always that kind of kid though. I was always the kid that would stand up for what he believed in. I always had my own ideas, and I always wanted to do things my own way that I thought was fair. I want to do my own thing, And so as a teenager, I was very rebellious. And I don't want to say rebellious because I wasn't out drinking, smoking, and doing all those things. But if my mom told us to do one thing specifically, and to me it did not add up or did not make sense for me, I would question it. And I would tell her, I was like, nah, that doesn't make sense. I'm not doing that. Give me a good reason why that makes sense, because that's not even fair to me. I was that kid. So I just really had something in me that was I want to be free. And it was really hard for me because I was this free-spirited kid. I was this free-spirited person. But at the same time, I was a Christian. And it's God, but my freedom. But God, but my freedom. And I battled that a lot. And to go against God scared the shit out of me. To do anything that was outside of our faith or knowingly on purpose, it scared me, because it was God is there and he's going to be pissed if he knows that I'm going against him, So I just fought with that a lot. I was like, man, I just really want to be free. I want to be one of my idols growing up when I was in high school was Jaden Smith. This kid, if you know him now, he's very free. He's a free person, free spirit, all those things. And I was a big fan of him when I was in high school. So my mind was in that same place of do what's best for you, live the life that you want to live and all this stuff. But it was but God on the other hand, And when I got into my more adult years, I kind of found myself trying to leave Christianity, but I always got scared and I came back. And right now where I'm at, I'm not a Christian. I'll be honest with you. I'm not a Christian. And during 2020, when COVID hit, that was a tough time for everybody. And I kind of knew that I wasn't a Christian, and I wanted something to lean on, to make me feel good, something that I could believe in, something that could give me hope. But I didn't want that to be Christianity. I wanted it to be something else. And I was very aware of like the spiritual people out there, and a lot of my favorite music artists were spiritual people. And so I was like, well, let's try getting into spirituality. Let's see if I can like get into that, get some crystals and go to those shops, get sage and look and research all those things. And I tried it. I did. I had crystals, burned sage, I did all those things. But I know that spirituality is not just burning sage and playing with crystals. It's a lot deeper than that. And as I did more of my research, I found that that's not really something that I'm into either. It's not. I can't pick up crystals and sit there and meditate with them. Although I love meditation, I'm a big meditation advocate, but I just don't play into I don't want to say play into, but I don't give into the crystals and things like that and the sage. I feel like where I'm at for myself is I don't have to be anything. I can just be myself. I can just be me, When I look for hope and when I look for guidance and things like that, I like to go outside. I like to go outside and take deep breaths. I like to go for like long walks, but I don't really have a faith spiritually or religiously, honestly. And some people do, and that's fine. But I think what the most important thing is that we all figure out what works best for us. Now, I don't want to make this a conversation about why religion is bad and what it's done to me and what it's been like for me, just me, because I know some people that have had some really like amazing experiences with Christianity and the hope that it gives people, and it does a lot of things for a lot of people. And I don't want to take that away from anybody. I can never take that away from anybody. I just want everyone to know that if Christianity is for you, that's amazing. But it might not be for the next person. Everyone has to find everyone has to find their thing that allows them the freedom to feel good every day. And that's my biggest takeaway from all that is you've got to just be yourself and figure out your niche or your thing. So with me, I'm not spiritual at all. And I found that, because that's the whole thing though. You feel like you have to kind of be something. You kind of feel like you got to be this or that, or you got to be Christian, or you got to be Muslim, or you got to be a Buddhist, or you got to be free spirited, or you got to be that or this. I am free spirited. I'm a very free spirit, but I don't really give into either or, and if and when I become a parent, I would want that same freedom for my child. I would not tell them, you got to be a Christian, or you got to be free spirited, or you got to be this, or you got to be that. You got to play with crystals. I would want them to figure that out for themselves. And that's the reason why I don't really like when I see people giving their practices to their children, because it's like you're almost kind of not giving them a choice. You're kind of almost making them who you are. And I would want my children to be free and able to make decisions about who they are for themselves. I don't want to tell them anything about who they are or who they have to be. Excuse me. Had to take a sip of my tea before it gets cold. But yeah, just be open, be open to different things. And I know it's hard when you've been raised in a certain specific thing to wander outside of that, because it's scary and we fear the unknown. Things that we don't understand, we tend to be a little afraid of them and what's going to happen. But sometimes you've kind of just got to trust that you're going to be okay. And that's where I'm at in my life right now. Is I have a good life. I have a really, really good life. I am 26. I have my own apartment. I live alone. I don't have a real job. You know, I'm a dancer. So I don't go into the office every day anymore. You know, I work in other ways. And so for that, I have to be grateful. You know, I have to trust in my timing in my life and where, let's say, the universe will take me, or whatever this is will take me. Now, I'm not going to say that I don't believe that there's nothing out there. I'm not going to say that, because I do feel like there's some kind of something, you know, but I don't like to put a name on it. I don't like to give it a structure. I don't like to be so intrigued by it that I lose sight of the present, and I'm taking myself out of the current moment to figure out what's out there and what's protecting me and why is the world the way it is. Like, you know, I don't want to ask myself all those questions all the time, because then I get to overthinking, and I'm an overthinker. So yeah, I just want to kind of live a more present life. And I think that's what helped me with all my anxiety that I used to go through, is being more present and stop asking so many questions all the time. You know, it's good to ask questions, but when you get to the point where you're living and every possible thing that you can think of to ask a question about, you're asking a question about, you're taking yourself out of the moment. You're removing yourself from this moment, and you're putting yourself in these illusion thoughts. That's something that I learned from what's his name? What is that guy's name? Oh man, he's a philosopher. I forget his name. If I remember, I'll come back to it. But Alan Watts. He pretty much has this quote where he's like, if you get lost in your thoughts, you're literally living in a world of illusions, and you remove yourself from the present moment. And I never want to be an illusion liver. I don't want to be an illusion liver. I want to be a present moment liver. I want to enjoy my life, you know? And then, so you might ask, all right, yeah, all this present moment stuff is cool, but what happens after you die? That's the reason why I'm religious, is because I need to know what's going to happen to me when I die. I want my soul to be safe. I want my soul to be saved. Yeah, that's cool. That's valid. And if you feel like you need that, that's cool. I feel like that's great. But for me, I don't need that. I don't need to know where my soul goes when I die. I don't need to know what's going to happen to me after I die, because part of me really doesn't care. A part of me is like, what does it matter? You know? Because then at that point, I'm just living to die. If I'm worrying about what's going to happen after, I might vanish into thin air when I die. I might everything stops and I become completely extinct. That could definitely happen, you know, or maybe your soul goes somewhere, or maybe you get reincarnated, or maybe you get this, or maybe you get that. But that's maybe possibility, but how would we know? Who has died and came back and told us, you know? That's why they call it a belief, because you have to really believe in it. And I don't really care to believe in any of that stuff. I kind of want, and I'm not saying if you do, then you're wrong and you have a problem or anything like that, because it works for you and that's what helps you get through your life. But for me, I don't need to think about my death every day, because I'm alive and I'm living. I'm thinking about what's going on right now and how I can keep my happiness and how I can keep my peace and my calmness. You know, I don't really want to live to die. And ever since I kind of like left the Christianity thing alone, I kind of became more present with myself and with what I feel. You know, I took on meditation, and meditation, it's been helping me keep my mindfulness together and start my days off right. You know, start my day off with a nice stretch and some meditation. That you don't understand how that can like help change your life. I'm also in therapy, I've been in therapy for 3.5 years now. And it's also been a beautiful experience for me to just open up to a therapist. As a black man, we aren't really taught to share our honest, true feelings. But therapy has helped me learn a lot about myself and kind of come to terms with a lot of things. And it's really transformed me, honestly. And my therapist, he's really great. He's very understanding. He's very open-minded too. So that helps a lot. But going back, I don't want to live to die. And when I say live to die, I don't want to live every moment so that when I die, I'll be all right. But then what about right now? What about right now? What if all this is all we get? And we didn't live it truthfully, and we didn't live it honestly, and we didn't live it to the fullest extent that we could, and how we feel, What if we gave all that up for hope that when we die, we'll have an eternal soul? Maybe your soul can be free right now. Maybe your soul can be eternal right now. Maybe your soul can be beautifully happy right now. I think maybe you just got to find your things and find your way, find what works for you, I just want everybody to be happy. So if that's Christianity, or if that's a religion, or if that's spirituality, if that's another thing, anything that's in between that, do it, man. Just do it. Be happy though. I want peace for everybody. I want peace, patience, and happiness, and calmness, and freedom for everybody. Being a free spirit like myself, it's a beautiful life. And when I say free spirit, I don't mean that I just go out and run around naked outside in the wilderness and shit like that. No, that's not what I do. And I also don't mean that I just go out and do crazy stuff just because. No, when I say I'm a free spirit, I mean I am free in all my choices in the way that I live. I wake up every morning and my soul is free. And I'm happy with myself, and I'm not bound to any social constructs or specific ways of doing things. It's literally that. I'm liberated. I want you to be liberated. I want you to be as free as possible as well. So I'm currently not in a part of either spirituality or Christianity, but for me, I don't have to be. And I don't think that you have to be if you don't want to either. But also, if you find that either is more beneficial for you, go for it. Go for that. I got a lot of people in my life that are Christians and that I can have a good time with and that I enjoy myself with. I have a lot of people that are spiritual and they do their own practices and they have their own beliefs and things like that. But I'm not telling them who to be or how to live or any of that stuff, because I just want them to be happy. I want the same thing for myself. And I think that's where we'll leave that. But I want you to take away one thing. Find yourself and find what works for you. Don't do something just because everybody else is telling you it's what's going to work. Try different stuff. Try different things. Try different practices. Look into different philosophies and stuff like that. I have this book right here. It's called Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. And it's a really good book. It was recommended to me by my therapist. And it's not like a traditional book where there's a story or, there's a plot line or whatever. It's pretty much this guy, he had a journal and he just wrote his thoughts in it. And it's like a lot of randomness in this book, but it's a lot of good information. or thoughts on how to live and live freely and live happily and not care about what other people think. And in it, I have a lot of highlighted sections, and sometimes I'll just flip open to a random page where it's highlighted and take a glance, and it'll have some good stuff. So I'll read one right now. And it's just a random page with random, words and stuff, but it says, "So other people hurt me. That's their problem. Their character and actions are not mine. What is done to me is ordained by nature. What I do by my own." And I think that this is a beautiful book, and I really enjoy this book. So figure out what works for you. Find your thing. Find your niche. Find what is going to be best for you. And I'll leave that there. And so I want you guys to have a great rest of your day, or wherever you are. If you're at work or if you're in the car, I want you to have a great rest of your day. I want you to please follow me on social media and share your thoughts, share your experiences, start a conversation. But this is not an argument. I'm not fighting you. I don't want you to fight me. I want this to be a conversation, a free, open-ended conversation. And also leave a rating on the podcast. It'll help me out a lot getting started off. And let me know what you want to talk. Let me know what you would like to see me talk about next in the future, or if you have any specific topic that you would want to touch on, or if you want to send me a question and you want me to answer your question in the podcast. This podcast is really going to be free flowy. I kind of want this podcast to be just a safe space to have conversations, healthy conversations, and live and laugh and love and all that stuff, whatever. But yeah, so that's all I have for you. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you, and have a great rest of your day. Thank you. Bye.